Okay. Before we start our story tonight, I wrote some things into the story that don't make any sense unless you have the background. So I'll tell you about the story of Ruth. About 3 years ago, Ruth arrived on the scene. Shortly after she got here, she fell and injured herself. They took her to Wake Med and were examining her. And the doctors pushed and probed and this and what have you. And finally they got around and they said, can you move this, can you lift your leg? And Ruth said, no, but you ought to see me pole dance. And so I have been teasing Ruth about that now for 3 years. We have several of our friends who know pole dancing well. And you will hear that excuse me, in the story tonight. And I hope you will understand. Well, get it right here, man. We used to sit back and relax and picture ourselves listening to the radio in our living room back in the 40s and 50s. When radio was king, our favorite shows were on almost every night of the week. Our advertisements were from that era, as were lead-ins to popular radio shows. Well, times have changed. We are now in the current year or later, and all of the characters from previous shows have aged in place. So now, sit back and pretend that you are now listening to the radio in Woodland Terrace with the old Detective Club of Abracadabra. You may even recognize some of the current residents of Woodland Terrace showing up in our play. As with all our shows, we throw in a sing-along from time to time to make sure you don't fall asleep. Now then, on with our show and radio station WTMK. Oh, the words to the songs that we're going to sing on the back side of your program. Okay? And sing with gusto. Okay, happy radio days.
Well, on the air. The radio club of WMTK is on the air. Ladies and gentlemen of the listening audience, thank you for tuning in to our old-time radio play. I will be the only announcer tonight and will lead you into the play and into songs along the way. So, on with the play. The last time we spoke, it was in 1953. The Detective Club of Abracadabra had just completed its first major bust. Remember, we were credited with finding and catching 3 hardened criminals that had kidnapped our mayor's daughter. Well, since that time, we incorporated the Detective Club, shortened its name, and expanded its scope and territory. Oh, another thing. Time has passed, 67 years to be exact. We are now in the year 2020. The radio station is still here, and we still do a sing-along on occasion. We also play some of the old-time commercials just for the heck of it. Another thing, I now own the radio station. My partner, my lifelong partner, as a matter of fact, is Jennifer. You remember her from the Detective Club. We'll hear more from her a little later. But for now, let's introduce you to Tom, the hero of the episodes from 1953. Here he is. He'll tell you what he's been up to.
Hi, folks. It's good to be able to talk to you again. In the next few segments, Laura and I and some of the other Detective Club members will fill you in on what we've been doing these 67 years. For me, I went to college, came out as a second lieutenant of infantry, Laura and I married in 1958. She'll tell you about our family in a minute. Me, I did the usual Army things. Jump school, Ranger training, and a lot of Army things. I'll tell you more about my short Army career later. First, I want to reintroduce you to Laura and our family and our life together.
Before we turn to Laura, let's revisit a couple of those old radio ads.
You said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say like, you've gone as far as you can go to get the very best. When you say fun, you said the word that means a lot to you.
Okay, that was fun, wasn't it? Because I own this station, I can still replay any old radio shows in the middle of the night. My advertisers love them, so I'll continue as long as it pays well. So let me give you a sampling of the radio show that we'll be playing tonight.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke.
Back to our cast of characters. Here's Laura. She'll fill you in on Tom and her early marriage and their children. Laura, take it away.
Hello, everyone. I've been waiting for this opportunity for a lot of years. So, from the beginning, Tom and I married and I became an Army wife and did the usual traveling around. We had short tours in Fort Benning, Fort Campbell, Fort Bragg, and a long tour in Germany, which was great fun, except for those gall-darn Russians. They caused us extra 6 months on our tour. We had 2 sons, Tom Jr. and Jeff was named after Jeff Morrison, who was killed when his Army helicopter crashed during a training flight. Yes, he too joined the Army and was doing well.
It's time for our first sing-along, and Jeff insists that we follow his schedule. So let's try to sing together. The sing-along girls are still with us, just a little bit older, but still in good voice. For some reason, their hair has remained the same color for the past 7 years. Mr. Producer, if you please, let's try a verse of Peg of My Heart. Peg of my heart, I love you, don't let us part. I love you, I always knew it would be you. Since I heard your lilting laughter, it's that Irish heart I'm after. Peg of my heart, your glances make my heart say, how's chances, come be my own, come make your home in my heart. That was just great. A little more bass on the next one, please.
Okay, I'm back. Tom and I finished our tour in Europe and we came back to the States and attended Infantry Officer Advanced School. Tom's career was going great. There was talk that he was a possible 5% for Major. But Vietnam came along and Tom went off with his battalion. He was involved in some very nasty fighting, and in his last one he was wounded so badly that he was medically retired, along with a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart. Now, let's have Tom go on from there.
Here I was, 32 years old, 75% disability and no real job. Well, not quite. Laura and I talked and we decided to restart the Detectives Club. We dropped the abracadabra and became the Detective Club, Inc. We started small, but we had great contacts and good friends. We grew rapidly, and in 5 years, we had offices in 6 states, all over the Southeast. We didn't stop there. We now have offices in 8 major cities and have national contacts with 18 major corporations. Life is good, except for my hip and wrist, which hurt whenever I'm worried and whenever Laura yells at me. Just kidding on the last thing. Let's let Martin tell you more about the club.
Martin Smith here. Remember me? I was the music major. Do you know how hard it is to make a living playing a viola? When the chance came up to pair with Tom and Laura and become part of the detective club, I jumped at it. I eventually headed the Washington office, but like all old people, I retired in 2005. I and my wife, Sue, moved into a seniors-only community in Virginia. But 3 months ago, Tom called and coaxed me into coming to Woodland Terrace to help him fight a crime epidemic. Tom granted me a supplement so I could afford Woodland Terrace.
Well, Martin stole my thunder. Yes, Laura and I are now at Woodland Terrace. We've been here for 2 years. We've got Martin with us, and we asked Doris to come along. She was part of the club and ran the Atlanta office. She and Martin got generous retirement plans so they could afford Woodland Terrace. I also asked Doris to be part of our investigation into the crime wave, which has become known as the WTCW. The Detective Club loves Anchorman. Doris, do you have anything to add?
Well, I actually coined that phrase. I like it. It's a shame that Jeff can't be with us. However, Jennifer is here, even though Dick is unhappy about her not being at his beck and call. We're about to have a meeting to define the crime wave and figure out how to attack so many crimes in such a small area and involving Woodland Terrace residents. Jennifer, do you have any updates for the past 67 years?
Not really. You know that Dick is a lawyer, and they move very slowly and cautiously. I understand that Tom Harper III just took over the Cary office, which is also the national headquarters, and that Tom Jr. is now retiring. He did a great job with the company for the past 40 years. The crew at DC, that's Detective Club, get it? We'll miss him. I hope he keeps those retirement checks coming. I don't have much margin for shortages.
Before we go to the meeting to define the depth and breadth of the crime wave, let's have a wave of our own as we sing our second song of the night, My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. Okay, sing along, ladies. Here we go. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back, bring back. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Good, audience. Remember how much fun it used to be singing those old songs? Okay, on with our old story. Tom is leading his old gang in the Lakeview room. And here's Tom.
I'm glad to see that you could all come. We have big-time crimes and a lot of work to do. Jennifer, would you please brief us on what you have been able to uncover so far?
We have so many crimes over such a large area, and so we'll ask the victims to tell us their tales of woe. I guess we should start with William and his stolen car. William, please tell the panel what happened, when it was stolen, and where was it last? We also need the model and license number.
Well, my car is dirty white. I think the license number is NZL 100. The last time I saw it, it was in the garage. I had just returned from a date and she was really anxious to go in, to get inside. I may have left my motor running. I definitely know that she has her motor running at our full RPM. I think she took a cab home. When I woke up this morning, my car was gone. That's all I know. Please don't let this get around. And please help me find my car.
Well, that sounds like something we can get our teeth into. Do we need to know the lady's name, or is it a secret?
Well, I don't remember her first name, but her last name was definitely Speed.
Okay, Martin, I guess you got enough to go on. You're in the lead on this. Please keep us posted.
Rush into the room. And I say, please help me find my pole. Please.
Laura?
Laura? Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was late, but I had a terrible crime to report.
Laura, I know that you're a little late, a little out of breath, and a little excited. What is this terrible crime that you're so excited about?
Someone has stolen Ruth's pole dancing pole. And she has a performance in just 8 days. We have to help her. What can we do? You know poles don't just grow on trees.
Well, Laura, actually they do, but I agree. We have to help Ruth. Do you know anyone who would take it, or where it might be?
Well, as a former music major, I know that the only uses for a pole are pole dancing and pole vaulting. I suggest that we look for someone who will be competing at a track meet or something like that.
This is serious stuff. Laura, you be the lead on this. I have tickets to that show. You seem to know the victim well. We'll also help search for Ruth.
Glad to be on the case, Tom, my husband. I'll do my best and find that pole or my name isn't Gangbuster.
The next case is a little closer to home. Because Matt is so busy taking care of us, I'll tell you of the crime. You all know that we received our liquor license a little while ago. Orrin and Mike had mixed feelings because they kind of enjoyed the freedom of having their little bottles at the ready. And Mike was proud of having Helen as his bag lady. And Orrin had his personalized mini bottle. I'll go on. The management immediately called the ABC board, and the board told them that they would not issue another license until the police investigated. So we called the police, and they said that they would not investigate until the ABC board asked. We know how long it took to get the license. We can expect another 6 months if we have to start over. Matt is absolutely crushed and is asking for our help.
I'll take this one myself. This is serious. It affects my liquor consumption. For the time being, I think we should keep the secret. What the ABC board doesn't know can't hurt us.
I'm Martin's wife. I'm not an original member of the club, but I worked with Martin for 20 years, and I can solve a crime with the best of them.
Glad to have you on board, Sue. Martin tells me that you are especially good at serious crimes. Here's a good one for you. You can read it to us.
Well, Betty, that's Rose Garden Betty. Noticed that her rose garden was all of a sudden growing crazily. Ever since the nursery did her annual spring feeding. The roses all have double blooms, the branches are extremely fast growing, and everything is just going crazy.
Paul here. I was the manager in New York, but I couldn't support the Yankees, and they ran me off. I came to Carolina and joined the DC way back when. I heard the police bulletin, and I think I understand the problem.
Carry on, Paul. I think you have the storyline better than me.
The story continues. Betty went out to her garden with considerable inconvenience. She walked around the garden and noticed the unusual growth. She had chewed out the nursery crew several times over the years, but these results were much more than she ever expected. Betty knelt down and started roughing up the soil looking for a clue.
We have to stop now. Dick tells us that it's time for another of those famous WTMK songs. I think an appropriate song at this time will be Let Me Call You Sweetheart. This will be our last song of the night, so sing with gusto. All right, sing along, girls. Let's sing.
Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you. Let me hear you whisper that you love me too. Keep the love light shining in your eyes so blue. Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you.
Nice song. Thank you, sing-along girls. Now back to our story of crime.
Well, Betty continued to stir around the soil. Her hand struck something, and it was pretty solid. She continued to dig and uncover a bloody hand. It appeared to be a human hand. She screamed.
Just at that moment, Dorothy was walking around the lake and heard Betty scream. She rushed to Betty, now sitting on the ground and holding her head.
Betty, what's wrong? Your roses look so beautiful. It can't be them. Did you prick yourself?
I think I found a human hand in my garden. I don't know if there's more to it. Oh, what should I do?
Well, let's not call Matt. You know how useless men are in these emergencies. Janet is off today, so let's call the police and then call Matt.
Well, okay, if you say so. I was just going to cover it up and go to dinner.
In the meantime, let's dig a little more. We may find a ring or something.
Betty and Dorothy continued to dig, but they find no other body parts. About the time they finished, Dorothy had found no ring and lost interest in the dig. As they dusted themselves off, the police arrived. They ran to the rose garden with guns drawn and radios blaring.
I'm Officer John. Ladies, I understand that one of you found a body in this rose garden. Which of you is she?
That would be me. I'm Betty. I found this in my garden. It's not a whole body, I think, just a hand. And, well, here it is.
Betty, with what she believes to be a human hand, passes it to the policeman.
Okay, here, officer. It was buried in the ground beside my roses. I was going to leave it there. Well, because my roses are really blooming so spectacularly. But I guess that wouldn't be legal, would it?
No, ma'am, that definitely wouldn't be legal. Thank you for calling us.
And this is my friend Dorothy. She helped me dig some more after I found it. She's the one who made me call you.
Miss Dorothy, did you see Miss Betty dig this hand out of the rose garden?
I'm Officer Barb. Miss Dorothy, Miss Betty, have you ever seen this hand before?
No, never. I promise. To answer your question, I did see Miss Betty dig it up. It was still covered with dirt. Betty shook the dirt off and handed it to me. I can't imagine how it got there, or who put it there, or why. It's pretty scary.
The policeman reaches into his evidence bag and pulls out a plastic bag. He marks it as Exhibit A, hand. He initials the bag and dates it. He pulls out his evidence kit and extracts a very small scale. This hand is so big that he thinks he had better weigh it. Next, he weighs the hand.
Now, this is strange. Based on the weight of this hand, The victim would have had to have been at least 9 feet tall and weigh 400 pounds. I'm going to probe around and find out how he got so big.
Policeman John jabs, sticks, and probes the hand using a scalpel. He looks into his notebook and scratches his head and takes a few notes. Then he pronounces.
This is not a human hand. It's a model of some sort. It's very good, but definitely not human. Can either of you explain why and how it got in here? It may have come from some medical school.
Well, I'm not sure, but the way my roses are growing, I want to leave it in. If that's not against the law.
You know, I just thought of something. I was in real estate for over 30 years. I remember that some people would bury a statue of St. Francis in their yards to help them sell their homes. Some people swore by it. I think that might be the case here. At any rate, I would just leave your helping hand in the ground and send a thank you and a bonus to the nursery.
Well, I'll do it. Officer, you are dismissed, and with our thanks. Please help yourself to a small bouquet of roses on your way out. Paul, will you please tell the detective club that this mystery is solved? I'm glad we didn't have to call Matt. He's so worried about the liquor license. He wouldn't have been any help at all.
I think I'm making some progress on the stolen car, Caitlin. I asked William to meet me at his cottage. I meant to check and see if Miss Speed left anything in the car that might help us.
Hi, I'm Judy. I think I know where the pole is.
Okay, I'll tell Tom as soon as I see him.
We need to have another announcement so we can afford to pay the detective club for its services. Listen to these two old-time favorites.
Hello, amigo. I'm Chiquita Banana, and I've come to say bananas have to ripen in a certain way, and when they're flecked with brown and have a golden hue, bananas taste the best and are the best for you. You can put them in a salad.
Boss, I just got a call from the Food Lion. They reported that a resident of Woodland Terrace was spotted topless buying bananas. You know how unreliable the bananas are from the kitchen. This may be another minor crime, but we better check it out.
Well, I think I might have a clue to the culprit. I shop there often, and I usually stop and get a few bananas. I'll call the manager and ask a few questions, and I think I may have this solved by close of business tonight. I'll go to Food Lion and meet with the manager. He should have an answer by the time I get there.
That's great, everybody. We have 2 crimes solved and another 2 well on the way. We still have to be diligent. I hope that Martin can resolve William's car issue. I think I'm getting closer on the ABC license.
Remember, we still have to find Ruth's pole, and we only have a few days left.
That's right. I personally guaranteed her that the pole would be ready for her slithery 2 days before the new performance.
Can I help? I used to do a little pole dancing myself. And until you know who win, got jealous and made me quit. Spoil sport.
I know, ladies, we're doing the best we can, but pole dancing is low priority in the age of television.
William just called. He told me to get over to his cottage as fast as possible. I'll let you know what's going on.
Martin hurries over to William's cottage. The door to the garage is open, and William's car is in it. Martin rushes in, and in the back seat, of the car is Miss Speed, curled up, asleep, and partially covered with a light blanket. Martin suspects that there is nothing else underneath.
Martin, I guess she didn't take a cab home last night. I guess that she took my car. She must have come back this afternoon and decided to take a nap. Shall I wake her up?
Yes, definitely. But first, let me take a picture of the crime scene. Then I'll wait. While you wake her. I must say, she does look pretty and fast. I'll let Tom know we solved another crime in this high crime area. See you later, William.
Martin, grinning from ear to ear, walks back to the detective club's temporary offices and reports to Tom.
Case solved, boss. I even got a free bottle of wine.
Have you found my pole yet? I need it so bad. Not soon, but soon, I'm sure.
That's great, Martin, just like old times. I'm thinking of opening a seniors branch here in Cary. I know that Glen Air is loaded with villainous seniors. And with their new high-rise, we'll have all kinds of senior business.
That would be great, boss. I've always wanted to nab one of those snooty rich seniors from that soon-to-be castle on the hill.
Calling in by phone from Food Lion, Doris reports the results of her investigation of the escapade at Food Lion.
This is Doris reporting from this den of iniquity and fresh fruit. Remember when we opened that new tanning booth last month? Well, some people said that it might be more trouble than it's worth. Remember that Frank was very proud of his bronzed, godlike tan. Well, he got so proud that he decided to show off his best body for all the seniors that shop at Food Lion. The manager asked that we have him parade through the store once a week. Food Lion will provide free bananas. You should see how busy the fruit aisles are.
Oh, I've got to get that liquor license now. I need a drink.
Later in the day, about 5 days, Dick walks in with a trophy.
Dick, I see you've got a trophy. What did you do and where did you get it?
For pole dancing. I mean, oh, excuse me. for pole vaulting. I won first place in the Cary Super Seniors Olympic Games. I used Ruth's pole. It was the only one strong enough, and I took the pole back to Ruth. I hope she wasn't upset that I used it.
If I were you, I wouldn't go to the dining room for a couple of days. Everyone here has been looking for her pole. I'll go tell Ruth that her pole is back. I won't mention you, and if I were you, I wouldn't bring it up until after her performance. In the meantime, I'll let Tom know that the crime has been solved and we can stop searching.
Tom has been searching throughout the entire bar area. He has found several bottle caps, 2 wine corks, and a mini bottle of wine. He has questioned Mike and Orrin and Willem, and they all deny knowing the whereabouts of the permit. He is about to try and forge a new permit and looks around for a sample to copy. He reaches for a menu, and there it is, stuck in the middle pages of a menu.
Hey, yay, here it is. I'll buy the first round.
And so we come to our final victim. Connie, now shot 3 times and tired of Hollywood, calls Laura.
Laura, I'm homesick for North Carolina and some homemade grits and some hush puppies. I don't want any more sushi and caviar. My crime, I report, is that no one loves me, and I can't get a date. All of my old consorts have died, and, well, I'm not aging. And I can't go out with all these young squirts.
Through some sort of time and space continuum, Connie needs our help. If we can get her out here, we can solve her dilemma. I think the next February is the time when everyone can gather to celebrate her return to the Sing-Along Bar 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, the players of Woodland Terrace. Thank you very much. We'll all be back maybe in February, and it'll be 1951 again.